Why? Because the IMF cannot answer that question. The Federal Reserve Bank of the United States cannot answer that question. Why have you prohibited the link between money and gold? Here is a letter written by Congressman Ron Paul, who is a candidate for the present presidential elections in the United States, regarding Article 4, Section 2B of the International Monetary Fund's Articles of Agreement. As you may be aware, this language prohibits countries who are members of the IMF from linking their currency to gold. Thus, the IMF is forbidding countries suffering from an erratic monetary policy from adopting the most effective means of stabilizing their currency. This policy could delay a country's recovery from an economic crisis and retard economic growth, thus furthering economic and political instability. I would greatly appreciate an explanation from both the Treasury and the Federal Reserve of the reasons the United States has continued to acquiesce in this misguided policy. Please contact Mr. Norman Singleton, my legislative director, if you require any further information regarding this request. Thank you for your cooperation in this matter. Ron Paul, United States House of Representatives. Ron Paul has been waiting 5 years for a reply. They will not answer. Why? Because the Bretton Woods Agreement and the International Monetary Fund, which emerged out of it, was designed to impose a financial dictatorship upon mankind. It is more than simply ripping off people, more than simply making Indonesia a poor country. It is actually financial dictatorship. When you have paper money with no intrinsic value, then you can modify and manipulate the value of the paper. Something called, I don't know if you've heard the term devaluation. Familiar with that? Devaluation. The Quran in 3 places has prohibited diminishing the value of people's wealth, property, services, goods. Allah says, وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. Do not diminish, make little the value of people's property, wealth, etc. وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. Okay. In April 1933, President Roosevelt of the United States, the Federal Reserve Bank has just been established in the United States, and it is a private institution, not a public institution. And in April of 1933, the US government enacts legislation prohibiting Americans, residents, from keeping gold money, gold coins, gold bullion. You can keep your jewelry. So gold is demonetized. Gold is no longer allowed as legal tender. If you're caught with gold after a certain date, then we're going to put you in jail for 6 months and fine you $10,000. So the American people rushed to exchange their gold for US dollars at 20 US dollars for 1 ounce of gold. Those who had some idea of the scam that was coming, the smart ones, like the ones who didn't go to work on 9/11, no? What they did was, they took all the paper money they could get and bought gold, the other way around. And then they shipped the gold to Switzerland. It's out of Uncle Sam's reach. After all the American people had exchanged their gold for US dollars, then in January of 1934, President Roosevelt removed the law, rescinded the law, remonetized gold. You're allowed now to keep your gold. However, we've devalued the dollar. The dollar is no longer 20 for 1 ounce. It is now devalued to $35 for 1 ounce. He should have been sent to jail for 35 years for what he's done now. So the American people rush back to buy back their gold. When they bought back